It all began when Karen requested that I donate my son's personal belongings to her church's charity. At first, I assumed it was just another overreach, a petty HOA demand, but she didn't stop there. She threatened legal action, claimed entitlement, and even tried to involve the police. Her audacity was staggering, but I stayed calm. My son's belongings were not only private property but also held sentimental value. Some items were irreplaceable, and the idea of them being given away without consent was infuriating. I immediately documented her demands in writing, recording phone calls, and saving every threatening message she sent. Karen showed up at the property, flanked by a small group of HOA supporters, ready to take the items by force. She assumed that her position as HOA president gave her authority to override parental consent and personal property rights. I confronted her calmly. "Karen, these are my son's personal belongings. You have no right to take them, demand donations, or interfere in any way. Step back immediately." She laughed dismissively. "I'm just trying to help. It's for a good cause. You don't have a choice." I shook my head. "You have no authority here. Any attempt to take or coerce will be documented as theft and harassment. The police will be involved if necessary." Karen, undeterred, attempted to enter the property. That's when Grandpa, my retired sheriff, arrived in full uniform. His presence alone made Karen pause, but he didn't stop there. Calmly, he read her the legal consequences of interfering with a minor's property, including trespassing, harassment, and attempted theft. Her smug confidence began to crumble. The neighbors, who had gathered to watch the confrontation, whispered among themselves, shocked at her audacity. Karen tried to argue that HOA rules gave her authority, but Grandpa presented property deeds, parental rights documentation, and evidence of previous harassment. Every claim she made was refuted with fact and law. To ensure no further attempts, I secured the belongings in a locked shed and installed security cameras with visible signage. Private property, unauthorized access, or removal of property will result in legal action. Karen tried to make one last plea, attempting to manipulate a neighbor into supporting her. But it quickly became clear that her credibility was gone. The HOA had to officially distance themselves from her actions, citing liability concerns. Shortly after, Karen received a formal warning and notice of potential legal consequences. The police confirmed that her threats and attempts to coerce donations constituted harassment and could lead to criminal charges. Her reputation, already tenuous, was now publicly tarnished. By evening, my son's belongings were fully protected, the property secure, and Karen left humiliated and powerless. The incident reinforced a clear lesson. Documentation, preparation, and law enforcement support are far more powerful than entitlement, threats, and intimidation. Karen had once again overstepped, believing that HOA authority could override property rights. Instead, she faced public humiliation, legal scrutiny, and the reality that crossing boundaries with someone prepared and supported by law enforcement carries real consequences. My son's belongings remained safe, my property secure, and Karen's attempt to assert control had spectacularly backfired. Justice, preparation, and authority had prevailed once again, sending a clear message that abuse of HOA power will not go unchecked.